No, 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 no.
Form. We'll take a full motion to approve the agenda and the minutes for actually November 15th and November 14th.
I'll motion to approve the agenda and minutes for November 15th and 14th.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Rich.
Morning. The guys are out this morning at a spray meeting, and then they'll go out and try to push whatever little drifts are back and whatever some stuff going in late Friday and Saturday with the wind. I don't think there's much out there, and then it's supposed to kind of be a little warmer this week, hopefully. And if finds anything down if we do get wind. We did spend some time last week pushing snow, so the season's starting. Every time it blows, stuff will stick to the road because we've got a product on salt and sand down. Residual will probably make things stick depending on snow temperatures. But other than that, they'll get out later today once they get done with the meeting. Trying to squared away. We'll still continue to blade roads if we need to. They're not frozen solid just yet, I don't think so. I had submitted the plans, I think last week. I don't know if I did, so I got to make up the they're in the queue for, that's the Rush Avenue. 390. One thing I'm working on, we've had some projects. We had one project where this was back, I think in 2017 already. It's a farm to market project, but it never got put in the system as a farm to market pay voucher, so we paid for it through our local funds. And I was trying to get things switched around. I think I've told you guys this before, that we owe Metro County for some farm market on Xenia, and try to get everything balanced out. I think what we're going to do is we're going to accept our reimbursement for the project that I think it was actually Finch for that project. It still shows up in my farm market balance is not paid. I think what we're going to do is we're going to receive that money. We'll turn in the pay request to DOT to get our farm market money to reimburse our local funds. And then I think we'll have to I'll figure this out with the DOT, but somehow we'll have to write a resolution to pay with local funds to Metro County's farm to market funds, so then the funds can transfer, and then I'll figure out how to do that. I don't know how it's done. There's a way to do it. I just don't know how to do it. So that's kind of what we're gonna try to do to get that debt paid off over there and keep things moving. Right now, it doesn't really affect my farm to market balances because whenever I see my balance, that money's kind of already taken out. So it's kind of already missing. So the balances that I tell you guys are still the same. They're just, they include those obligations, they just haven't been paid out. So at least that's how I understand it. So let me work on that for a while and see what the heck we have to really do to get that taken care of. So well, that's all I got for you today.
Okay. Do you got anything else? All right. Drainage claims. You guys got any questions on this? Now I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve drainage claims.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved in second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Let's look at claims.
Yes.
Any questions? No, but the motion for the claims.
I make a motion to approve the claims.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Okay. More reports. There is two salary changes. Payroll eligibilities for Alex and Kim from the Sheriff's Department. Take a motion to approve the payroll eligibility salary changes.
I motion to approve salary changes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Both same sign, motion will carry. Okay. Liquor, okay, so the Northeast Iowa Workforce Area Chief Elected Officials Shared Liability Agreement. And discussion and approval. We signed this once. They came back and changed the rules on it. But we had to go back through and redo some stuff, ran it through Jeff, and Jeff kind of said, well, it's. And all the other county attorneys, I think, kind of the same page, it's kind of a take it or leave it type of deal, but if we leave it, we're kind of SOL. We kind of have to do it. And then, so I'm just gonna jump ahead, I had about a 3-hour meeting this week with the whole state of Iowa. On more training that they're changing some stuff on too now that we're gonna have to deal with going forward. See how that washes out in the next couple months, but this is to get us all right up to date for right now. We just had to get approval that I can sign it again. Basically the same thing I signed last time, they just changed some verbiage and.
We're making a mess of this workforce thing, aren't they?
They are, but Iowa is still, they say about 4 to 5 years behind the nation on changing these regulations and rules and. And it's not a. Yeah, we got a say in it, but we don't get a say in it, so.
Right.
Yeah, so what I need, I guess, is a motion that I can sign this form. And we're gonna move on, I guess. So.
Continue with our agreement that we already have.
Yep,
Yeah, I'll motion to approve the North Iowa Workforce Agreement.
so
second it.
it's been moved and second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Both same sign, motion will carry. Thanks, guys. Oh, Melissa, are you on?
Let's see here. Today? What's so busy? Oh, there's an email there that she's off this week.
Oh, that's right.
She's
Okay.
off.
Yep,
She's-
she sent us an email.
Yes.
But she's going,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
she's gonna check.
She
email.
was trying to be gone, she said.
Yeah, if she has to, I think she'll do it Wednesday, but she's
All right.
gonna be on vacation this week.
Chris is not on this week. Anything from department heads? Sheriff?
Yeah, last Thursday, one of our vendors, took down our 911 and our phones in the sheriff's office, and it was supposed to be a quick fix.
Okay.
It turned into an 8-hour of being downtime.
So,
We didn't react real well in my department, which I have already addressed, and there is a new policy sitting on my desk that will be signed, put out to my people, but that's only 1% of the problem. A lot of it is with Central Square. Number one, they gave us very little notification they were gonna take this down. Number two, there is not the redundancy of a backup system, and then we found that one of the thumb drives that was in there was an improper thumb drive that should have been changed. They were out when they put them in and should have been changed over. So our vendor, we are trying to get a meeting with their management. We want to go a little bit higher. Hopefully we'll have that today, and I'm not gonna be real happy because I got a phone call on my personal phone trying to report a crime that occurred because they couldn't get through up here. And then that's kind of when I found out and called up here and got things going. So there was some issues with that. I thank God we didn't have a heart attack or a bus wreck or something like that. But it's not a good situation that is being addressed.
there's no backups for any kind of stuff. I mean, are you supposed to be or?
Well, what we should have done right away is number one, transfer our 911s to another county. And that did not happen because of the short notice. And that's what I'm addressing in my side of the world. And then the other thing, we have an Armageddon phone that we can plug in with a different line that can be used. It's extremely outdated, and we were thinking about dumping it because we hadn't used it in 20-some years.
So what it is, it's a Verizon home phone system.
Okay.
So it runs off the Verizon network. We've had it for years now, and we've used it occasionally. But it's end of life. Verizon will not be, it's on 3G. So that system will not be, as of December, in December, it will not function anymore. And the sheriff and I had talked about it, and we're like, well, does the cost justify? Because we've got 2 of them, and I think they're running us about $10 each a month is the cost on those. So We talked about not having one, not renewing that or updating that system, but now we're rethinking that conversation.
Well, with our old company, before we switched to the Central Square, which I'm not a fan of Central Square, we've had a lot of issues with them. We used to have a second server, so if one server went down, we could go to our backup, which we've always been very redundant. Well, when they came in, they said we wouldn't need it. They didn't want to put a second one in. And that's one of the things we're going to be discussing today is I think we need that second server. We need the right parts and we need notification so we can do our legwork ahead of time is the 3 phases that I'm going to be discussing with them very, very hard.
The other piece of this puzzle is the new phone system. I think we have some other options we could look at with Winnebago Telephone once we get the new system in. So that's some conversations we'll have to have with them once we start really kicking the new phone system in.
I'd say fortunately, it wasn't a major incident and nobody could call, so.
We're a little slow to pivot. And that's partly my fault and some fault on the sheriff's office side, but for, like Dan said, the most part, this new system that Central Square put in, I'm not happy with it. The support has been awful. I've talked to all the other counties that have Central Square. They're saying the same story. So it's just they bought Emergitech, which was our old 911 system. We're like I said, I think a little come to meeting here is hopefully going to help maybe change that equation a little bit.
Some growing pains that need to be addressed.
Well, it's on their end. I mean, it's the support, if you're supporting a 911 system.
You better support it.
Yeah, and like I say, my people reacted very slowly. They knew what to do and they didn't react properly. So
We got there.
Good training.
In the future, hopefully that thing will get switched to another 911, transferred over and we won't.
the new policy that I'm putting out says that it doesn't matter if they call and say we're gonna be down for 1 minute or an hour. The first thing they're gonna be doing is transferring it.
It only
That's
affects
the way it should be.
which county, this, whatever
Yes.
they did, it wasn't like. Metro and Winnebago at the same
No,
time,
in fact,
like,
we-
boom, now what do you do?
At the beginning, we're transferred over to Winnebago, and then when it went to a longer term, we transferred down to Cerro.
Right.
So, no, and they thought it was gonna be a quick fix, and so there wasn't the need, they thought, to shut down and do that, which we're not doing that again. And they could have pulled the Armageddon phone out and had things ready and,
But by the time that Marilyn and I got the email that they were going to reboot that server, they had already rebooted that server. So we were out of the equation by that time.
and that's one of the 3 things today is they're gonna have to give us at least an hour of notice so we can get that stuff switched, because I'm not gonna take that chance again.
Right,
Absolutely not. Yeah.
that's good. All right. Anybody else?
So as far as IT goes, you guys met Sam today. He's starting. I'll be helping him onboard here for the next, however much he needs. But with that, we've got, like I said, the phone system. I want to start pushing that down the road again now and getting that put in now that he's on board. And then HVS and SCI will be up here today to start doing the doors and the camera systems.
Fun.
Finally, yeah, it's been a kind of a long run and part of that was me being out of the equation.
Yep.
But I think they're gonna start with the ancillary buildings first and then come into the courthouse after that. But you'll see them running around this week doing some positioning equipment and whatnot. Jerry from SCI, his guys are fantastic. I've known Jerry for quite some time and they do nice work. So he was gonna be up here today. We do have a camera out at the quarry that's given us fits, so I'm gonna take Sam out there today and we're gonna take a look at that as well. Along with all the other stuff that's going on, but that project, they're saying probably 3-4 weeks, we should have that wrapped up. Most of the back end stuff is done. We'll have some, who gets what access to what and how you guys are gonna access those doors. But other than that, I think besides bringing him on board, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Cool. Good. Yeah, should be good. So, all right. Supervisor Weekly.
I didn't have anything else for you.
Lucky. I don't know what I had.
He's loaded. Usually he's got something.
Oh, and well, at NICOG, which we talked about on Tuesday, I guess. We had a Care Connections Zoom meeting, just a kind of a committee meeting. On the future of how things are going there, possibly looking at adding another employee or two. With the way everything's been going, just to kind of even out, make sure we get enough coverage for the eastern counties, which is us, and the western counties over there, so. We'll be meeting again a couple more times to decide if that's what we want to do for the future. So Melissa's kind of over there as being a little retroactive. Or proactive, I should say. I'm keeping up with that stuff, so. I know it's been working great over here for us, so. Then we had the Shell Rock Watershed, quick meeting, we signed our contract with JEO to get our comprehensive plan going, so. They'll be moving forward on that, hopefully within the next 12 to 18 months, we'll have that all complete, and then we'll get some public meetings going on that as far as what the Shell Rock Watershed's gonna do, and try to get some support from all the locals and what needs to be done, what kind of mitigation stuff can we do now to help prevent flooding, to help prevent water quality issues, all that stuff, so that was going pretty good. And then I did meet with Fort City Ambulance yesterday. And we had a discussion of future of what's gonna happen here in North County with at least their portion of coverage area over there. Don't foresee anything changing, other than they did mention that they will probably be coming for a funding request from us. And that's something we'll have to, once we get those in, we'll have to probably go and talk with our communities, because I don't know that it's the county's responsibility to gobble all that up. When a good portion of calls are in the communities, not in the rural area, so. So yeah, we'll have to start having those discussions with the towns in our districts, and once we start seeing these numbers of what it's gonna take, so we need to get it in now so we can start budgeting for that, as well as the communities too, they can start budgeting, because that's gonna take over here the next month, so.
Yep.
So we just gotta be prepared for that, but otherwise, that's all I have.
Yeah, I just had to say I have a workforce development training session, and be some stuff we'll be dealing with here in the next couple of months. It's I don't know if it'll be a real big deal. It's just gonna be another time consuming project that we'll have to deal with and get everybody kind of on the same page again, or on different pages. Actually, the way it sounds, they don't want us all doing the same thing that we decided to do. So we'll be working on that. All right. Anything else for next week's agenda? You're not get in touch with Jackie during the week, let her know what we're doing, so.
Yeah. That, and she probably knows that, see, one of our zoning members
Yes.
will be
Yeah.
stepping down. She,
Yep.
her term's up actually next year, but
Yep.
she'll be stepping down. If we're gonna be getting into that discussion, maybe we should have the discussion of expanding our zoning board
For the
to
whole,
different areas of the county. So, you guys will have to kind of start thinking, and I will too. Grab, how we're gonna do it. But try to get we'll get some in the eastern portion. Obviously, the center was always kind of there, but
Yep.
now with one less person, now's the time to make some changes, I think. To get that going. So if you guys know somebody, get somebody in mind in different areas of your district, at least we can. Try to get most of the county covered. We don't need it for every township, I don't think, but if we get one person to cover a couple townships, 2 or 3 townships in that area, just to,
Yeah.
we need to keep up on that.
Considering Heartland, Brookfield and Danville and Kensett are covered, we need to get
Yeah,
get
east and
out
west.
of there.
yeah, because Dana, she lives up in Heartland.
No,
She lived.
Dana
right in,
lived down by-
Ro-
She's I thought she was Brookfield,
Brookfield. She's right along the interstate too.
Okay.
Yeah.
and Faber is
Maybe.
Danville,
He's Danville.
Yeah.
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 And
He's
see,
Danville,
Jeff is
yeah.
Kensett, so,
And
And,
Todd
uh,
Rotho is
and Quiz-
Danville.
and yep, and Quisley is Heartland. So those 4 are covered, so.
So I think we could separate, talk to Justin and Todd maybe and see if one of them wants to stay or go, because I know Quisley's on 2 boards. He's on the.
Oh, it's on the
zoning
board of
commission and the
adjustment
board of
too.
adjustments. So if he would want us to take just one board, maybe Justin or Todd would take that spot. And that kind of, because those, like I said, those guys live 5 miles apart, if
Right.
that,
If that.
a couple, 3 or 4 miles apart is all. Justin and Todd, so we need to, open up some room and get that spread out, I think, so.
I kind of thought about this a few months ago, that, considering how hard it is to get people on the board, we'll probably leave those people on there and then just expand out from there. And then when they decide not to do it anymore, don't replace them in that area,
Good, yeah. Like I say, we're gonna be down one, which is okay, but now we can grab one from a
We can
different
grab
area
one from a
because
different
those
area.
areas are kind of covered already.
Yeah.
That's what it started.
Getting something from
So
like,
just, just for
get
us,
something from like Union or Deer Creek in that area, or out in Silver Lake or something like that. Or
Yeah.
Fertile even, yeah.
because then what we can do is if we can just start thinking of people that would be interested, find some people, we can go in and change the territory or basically the number of people that would want on that zoning board, get more into it. And then when our appointments come this winter or after the first year, we'll have all of our appointments. We can get those set in place. So it's not like that to consider and we'll get on for the next couple weeks here.
And even on both the boards, Dana was the only female. I'm gonna see if I can't find another female.
Oh, yeah. definitely.
Get diversity. in it.
Yep.
Technically, that's one of the audit things we get.
Yeah.
We don't have-
Okay,
Yeah.
that just came to mind to me that I thought it'd be good to see if we could find a.
Definitely. So,
All right.
okay,
I believe that's it. So I can see, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
we'll do adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, motion carried. Thanks, guys.